Assalamualaikum. My name is Alia Nadhira binti Ismail.
And my name is Aqilah Azizi.
We
Hi,
are
Alia.
Diploma
Hi, Sarah.
in English Communication students from College Professional Mara Indra Mahkota.
Today we are going to conduct an interview in order to understand better about the term Spinster or Andartu in Malay community or Malay culture. So could you please introduce yourself?
First of all, hi, Sarah and Alia. Thank you for inviting me for this short interview, I'll call it, okay? My name is binti Mazlan. Currently, I'm working with water filter Kobe Sundan Berhad since last 2 months. Previously, I was in medical line as a doctor, but I choose to stop and then now think I'm planning to change into education line. Meanwhile, I'm doing my part-time in Kobe, as I mentioned earlier.
So, Miss, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys too.
So we are going to ask you several questions. You have to answer all of the questions, obviously.
Okay.
So, without further ado, let's start our interview. Okay. So, Miss
Okay,
Izzati,
I'm happy to do so. Okay.
at what age you were introduced to the term spinster, anak dara tua, andartu, and etc.?
Oh, the term of Andartu, if I'm not mistaken, it's I first heard about this term when I was in teen times. I think because of that time, we watch a lot of, love couples movie in the television and drama, etc. So at that time, all of us are hoping that we can get married earlier. So I think around teens might be during my high school time, about 13 years old.
Oh, at that particular age, 13 years old, how do you view andartu? How do you view people with that title? Do you have positive or negative view?
Of course, I would have negative view on them. Because I think during that time I was thinking like those who become Andartu are those who like, because not they are not choosing that path, but it is, I think at the time it might happen to them because no one even like them. I mean, like, no one have heavy interest with them. Maybe because they have no they're not pretty enough, or maybe they have this thing that guys doesn't like. For example, they have weight issue, or they have, maybe education is not that high. And then during that time, I'm thinking of like, I don't want to be one of them, because everyone hoping to end up with someone and having their own family. And I never think of, in the end, I'm ending up become one of them.
So, Miss, as you grew older, is there any changes on the perspective toward this taboo, toward this
Yes.
culture?
Yes, exactly. Because first and of all, what changed my mindset is because I'm looking at my colleague, like majority of us still not getting married yet. In fact, my close friend, I would say most of us, about only 10% of my close friend that end up with having their own family. And then I'm thinking, because my friend is around doctors and professional people, so, and then I'm thinking might be the reason why we don't get married. It might be because of our busy schedule, or we do not have time to find the right person in our life. And I'm start of thinking of might be because of this profession thingy make you become an excuse to not be, how can I say, because you are not the one who doesn't want to get married. It's just that because you are too tight with your schedule, you give this as excuse of not getting married at earlier age. But in fact, in reality, that's not supposed to be the reason why.
Oh, I get it. So, Miss, when you were little, when you were a teenager or maybe just a kid, have
Yep.
your mother ever told you to never marry late, never marry late?
My parents, you mean never become adult, right?
Yes.
Okay. My parents, I think most of my parents at my age, they don't really tell us about that. But the main focus is about you need to be success in your study, focus in your study. They never ever mention about, you should get married. About the term of marriage is not something like, we never discuss anything about that. So my parents does not have any input in terms of under two.
So, as you said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
you have a friend, so you have your surroundings is already familiar with people marrying late. As you said earlier, your friends
Yeah.
are also marrying late. So this
Mm-hmm.
this situation also affecting your perception towards Andar too, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So the question is, sorry, I don't get it.
So the question is about, have you do your surrounding have
Is
anyone who do not get married yet,
oh
who married later, but you already stated
oh
that you have some friends and colleagues who is also can be categorized as spinsters because of their workload, their
yeah.
work.
In fact, I think a lot of my friends, and then a lot of my friends who have getting married, and then a lot of my friends, surprisingly, quite number of them, few of them, the first year after they getting married, they've been blessed with one child, and then they end up with divorce. And then I thought it's only 1 or 2%. When it happens around us more than 2%, I start to make one conclusion. It's not about getting married is important, but how if like we get married and then end up with the wrong person, and why we should get married at the first place? Somehow when this happened to my friends, even though it's only a minority of my friends who ending up with divorce at the first year of after getting married, I think me and my friend, we start to have this one perspective of it's okay to get married late, as long you get married with the right person. So we give, as I said, we give this as an excuse to us that, might be in the, back time, at the old time, people think of being under two is something very bad. We give this skepticism to this kind of people. But when I see a lot of, I would say, unsuccess married life, so I somehow putting myself as a lucky one, and it's not bad to not get married at this age. And me and most of my friends start to change our perspective of it's not that bad not getting married, as long you get married to the right person. But we just but who knows, in the end, you don't get married to anyone. You do not know.
Okay, thank you. So I will continue with the next
Ah,
question.
okay, sure, Sarah. Why not?
Yes. So the next question is how your community, I mean the bigger community, maybe your family members, your bigger family members, or maybe your old friends, your old school teachers view this kind of taboo.
About teachers, I'm not sure how, because I didn't ask about their opinion.
No, I
But
mean, maybe when we are going for your school reunion, and so like the teachers might ask about your status, right? So do you think that how does bigger community, I mean in Malay community, view this kind of taboo?
I think they have started to accept this under two people, I would say, because when you go anywhere, not really much people will ask about your status. In fact, they know you don't get married yet, because on Facebook, we are following up each other. Even though we don't like their status, actually they know about what happens on our daily basis, I would say. So I see not much people asking about our status. People have become accepting to this I would say under two. It's just that only some of my aunts they will ask like when they want to get married, and then they start nagging here and there. But I would say majority wouldn't bother much about our status.
Okay, for the next question, during your
Sure.
current age, I mean like during your adulthood, how do you observe the culture of Andartu? Maybe perhaps there are differences between the community during your mom era or or the current community right now. Is there any differences in viewing Andartu or Spinster?
Okay, I think the question is quite
Similar.
I would say not similar. It's quite obvious. During our mother's time, they
Yes.
get married by teenage,
Yes.
and then like when but what happened to us this day? Most of us we get married by the age of 30 or 35, and then we ending up having fewer child, and then sorry, once again, your question is what? I forgot this now.
Okay, I will repeat the question. I mean, like, is there any differences between your mother's era and your...
Okay, got it.
Is there any difference?
Okay, yes, different. During my mother's era, I think our mothers, if you don't get married by 20 or 25, they consider you under to right.
Yes.
But for our time, because most majority of women has become professional, they involved in professional, they become doctor, engineer, and you will be surprised that some women even become the leader of the family, and there is not woman does not become housewife. Sometimes even in my close relative, the husband ending up become the housewife, and the wife going out and is the one who become the breadwinner of the family. So I think there are, I would say, major shift in perspective of during our mother's time and our time. Like Andartu during that time is not really is considered taboo, but this day I think people are start to accept and does not consider Andartu as a taboo.
Okay, so from the perspective of your community, is it necessary for the women to get married early at the expected age? Because I believe that there are some small community where you have to marry at the age of 25 or 26. Something.
I think in our community, people will start to ask when you approach 26, 27.
Yes.
But by the age of 30 and above, in fact, even 35 and above, people wouldn't care much about your status. They, as I said earlier, they start to accept you as what you are, and then but they don't see you as Andartu. Might be they start to put themselves into, as I said earlier, do you remember when I said about a lot of divorce cases in
Yes, yes,
Malaysia,
yes,
and then a lot of I'm sorry to say this, it's not
yes,
happened to all of us, but a lot of husband who's not been responsible to the family. So
yes,
when women start to become single, and then they think of they can live the life without a man as a husband, and then they can do everyday tasks about without hoping of any man in their life. So people start to accept us as who we are. They don't ask anymore what our status.
okay. Is there any of your friends who decided to marry early in order to meet the society expectation that women should marry early in order to avoid the taboo? I mean, like maybe
uh,
there are certain community that still cannot accept women who are marrying late. Is there any of your like
mm,
surroundings, your circle of friends?
yeah, I got some of my friend, um they, because this what not the community said, parents don't really like themselves more than age of 30 don't get married, and parents start to force them to get married. So because they cannot really stand what the relative the relative, and then especially from mom and dad, ending up they get married earlier, because just for the sake of to make sure that um, people around does not have this taboo, as you said earlier.
Okay, as you for the next question, as you mentioned that people nowadays try to accept that marrying late as something is not taboo. Do you think that the socialization, maybe from social media or maybe from the TV programs, currently women is viewed as someone who can be independent in their life?
Mm, yes, apparently you can see in our we see that a lot of success people are women these days compared to back then, 20 years or 30 years time. Women are not involved in professional, as I said earlier. But this day, you can see a lot, even in our school, the one who sit on the top 10 mostly are women. I'm not saying all, but from my own experience, um, my personal experience, like majority of women, my female friend would succeed as compared to the male as general. And then you see in social media, there are artists. For example, I'm quoting from Nia Lofa, because I think she's considered one of the under two. I'm not sure about her age. Do you guys know her age?
I'm not sure, but I
Really no.
think it is.
I'm not sure. Late 30.
I don't
Okay, yeah,
know.
I think she and then she said, women these days can live without men. She have very good, very successful business. So when you say these people, they are not sitting by themselves. They portray themselves to the crowd, to the people around that. If they can be succeed, why not us? And then because of these people who how can I say, uh, they are not
Yes,
somebody who just play behind the curtain. They
yes,
are the one who show themselves in the crowd. So this somehow giving us the under two people somehow, you can tell yourself it's okay. A lot of people out there who is succeed, who is very popular, they also ending up not marrying anyone. So we are one of them. So don't feel bad about yourself.
so maybe you think that the exposure that we get, like as you mentioned, Nilofa kind or give you the kind of reassurance. I think, is it correct? Like you never like feel that you
Yeah, yeah. It's somehow you like create an excuse because you are not alone.
yeah.
Uh, People who are popular and success are those like you. So why not?
I get it. So thank you very much, Miss Izati, for taking your time to participate in our interview and spend a little bit of your precious time answering our questions, our curiosity. So now we have a better understanding about Spinster among Malay culture. Thanks to Miss Izati Madlan. Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
we will end our interview. So we hope that this interview might help in order to give people a better understanding concerning spinsters among Malay culture itself, uh, among Malay culture in the modern world right now. So thank you, Ms. Zati. Thank you,
Zati.
Okay.
Lian.
Okay. Sorry for the anything that I'm lacking in. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's perfect.
You did great.
Okay. Hopefully, I ending up marrying someone.
Thank you so much.
Amin.
Okay. Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much for everything.
Okay,
We'll
I
see
will
you.
end.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay lah, khair.
Okay, it's a wrap up.